Ever since I began healing my feminine within me, life hasn't looked the same. It's not louder, not faster, but it has gone deeper. And there are lessons that feminine taught me, not through books, not through concepts, but through lived experiences. And I want to say this first, the feminine doesn't teach gently just because she's soft. She teaches honestly. And sometimes honestly feels like destruction before it feels like grace. Now, I'm going to go straight into the lessons that I have learned in my journey. My journey is still on, but whatever I've learned till now, this is what it is. So, one of the first things that working on the feminine helped me realize was that how much I was living from a misaligned state, fully mine. The desires that I once chose, they weren't fully mine. I think I was trying to live through someone else's life script. And like so many of us, I also believe that, we have this map for a fulfilled life, and we just have to follow the map to create whatever we desire. Do this, achieve that, become this version of yourself. And logically, I knew something was not working for me. But the logic only didn't tell me why. But as soon as I started working on the feminine, it did. Like she told me what's wrong here. She spoke through my body, through the heaviness that I used to experience, but just, never paid attention to resistance that I was carrying in my body, and through the exhaustion that I was experiencing throughout. This healing through the feminine path, it did not explain. It just showed me very clearly why certain paths never worked for me. And once I felt the truth of it in my body, I finally found the strength to let go of what was not serving me. The next thing that I realized on while walking the path of the feminine was like she exposed the illusion of productive healing. So I'll tell you what I mean by that. To the feminine, basically, it made me confront this really uncomfortable truth. It showed me how unproductive my healing journey actually was. I had unknowingly entered the cycle of performative spirituality, doing all the right practices, saying the right words, but avoiding the depths. She pulled me straight into my shadows, into the discomfort, into the places that I had very smartly, unknowingly learned to spiritually bypass. And it didn't let me leave until I stopped trying to escape the difficult path, the discomfort, and learned how to stay. And that's when I understood that the clarity that I was seeking, it doesn't come before feeling. Clarity actually comes after you allow yourself to feel fully. Feminine literally stretches you, but not to break you, but to make you honest. Next is, she taught me the cost of living shallow. Feminine has taught me, this journey has taught me the true meaning of depth. She made me look at the parts of my life that had kept me shallow, like relationships that lacked truth, friendships that weren't real, the work environments that I clung to simply to survive. She showed me how much energy leaks from us when the depth is missing, and how much depth isn't about intensity, it is about truth. When depth enters your life, you stop pretending, you stop performing, and you stop settling. Next is, she changed my relationship with my body. So I always had a very healthy relationship with my physical body in terms of diet, exercise, and discipline in general. But my feminine body, I had no idea how neglected she was. I didn't understand her cyclical nature, her need for rest, her need for softness, slowness, and listening. The feminine taught me that my feminine physiology was never the enemy. She taught me that rest is not a reward, it's a requirement. And as I started understanding my hormonal rhythms, my emotional cycles, my energetic fluctuations, I started designing my life around my body instead of trying to fit my body into my life. And that's when intuition started returning, because intuition is not loud. It speaks through body sensations, feelings, and subtle emotions. And once you learn that language, your life becomes body led instead of mind led. Next one is, she took me into the deepest wound of my life. As you have already understood by now, that feminine is not shallow. So feminine doesn't heal at the surface level. And I understood it when she finally took me into my deepest wound, the ones I had ignored, suppressed, and normalized. Everything that we experience is stored in the body, and energetically, it is also held in your Akashic field. And your body is the instrument through which your Akasha speaks to you. When you start to release the emotional wounds from the body, you also release the energetic imprints from your Akashic records. And the feminine is the one who initiates this remembrance, this release, this recalibration. And she doesn't rush this process. It's a sacred process, and she honors this sacredness. Next one is my feminine healing revealed my inner masculine. So this is something unexpected that happened when I started to walk the path of my feminine healing. I finally understood my inner masculine. For years, like many women, I also believed that I was not able to bring major changes to certain areas of my life because I was not enough as a woman. But that wasn't the truth. It wasn't that my feminine lacked that power. It was just that my inner masculine lacked the courage. And healing my inner feminine made me realize where exactly my inner masculine needed structure, direction, and integrity. Once I saw that, everything became clear. I stopped blaming myself. I stopped feeling like helpless. And I started building safety, consistency, and action from within. And at this point, I'm still a work in progress. The next thing that I learned through the feminine healing is that the boundaries protect your radiance. So boundaries are not walls, they are containers. The boundaries allow the feminine to flow safely. Without the boundaries, your energy leaks and your vitality fades, and then your radiance dims. So saying no to things that I really didn't want to do became like an act of devotion to myself. And honestly, the world around me didn't collapse just because I started saying no to people. Next lesson that I learned was that the safety and relaxation are intertwined. So for your feminine softness to exist and for you to experience it, safety must exist. And for the safety to exist, your nervous system must feel supported. So relaxation isn't something that you force. It emerges on its own when your body feels safe enough to exhale. So I started asking myself, what does safety feel like to me? What is safety? How does it feel somatically for me? And how can I provide that to myself? And slowly my body started responding and I received my answers. So just remember that for your feminine, beautiful feminine vessel to fully relax, she needs safety. The next one is the feminine reconnected me with my desire. So, yes, the feminine gently brought me back to my desires, not the kind that chases outcomes and not the kind that is attached to achievement, but those small, quiet, almost forgotten kind, the smallest of desires that were always there within me. And the ones that don't even make sense to justify. So, for example, the book I want to read just because it soothes me, or my urge to write something without needing it to be shared, and just wanting to sing something, not because I'm a singer, but something in my chest wants to open up. So I think you understood what I mean, like those little moments of beauty, texture, silence, and music that makes you feel instead of think. So all these desires, like they were for a very long time, I think they were buried within me under this garb of performance, under productivity, under this need to be useful, impressive, or on track. And I did not realize that how numb I had become until the feminine, while healing it, slowly started asking me, what do you want really when no one is watching? And as I started honoring these small longings, something shifted for me. I started feeling myself again, not in a dramatic way, but in a grounded, intimate way. Like I was finally inhabiting my own life instead of running through it. And the desires were not about becoming someone. They were about returning to the parts of me that feel alive for no reason other than being alive. And that's when I understood that these little desires that we feel within us, they are not indulgences. It's like incoming information from the soul. It connects us back to the feeling sense of being who we are. Is how the feminine guides us back into the wholeness. In the end, I just want to say that this path of the feminine that I'm walking, it didn't come in my life to make me better. It came to make me truer. So feminine didn't ask me to fix myself. She asked me to come home to my body, home to my rhythm, home to the parts of me that were never broken, only they were hiding, like they were unheard. The more I listened, the more the life stopped feeling like something I had to chase or survive. It started feeling like something that I could finally inhabit. I want to make this statement that there is no healing without the feminine. She's the nurturer, she's the healer. She's the one who destroys the illusions and returns us to the truth. Not through force, not through performance, but through feeling, through slowing down, through deep, honest listening. And this is what feminine healing really is. It's as simple as that. You're not becoming someone new, but you're remembering who you were before the world taught you to abandon yourself. And my loves, if something softened in you while listening to this, if your body felt seen before your mind could explain it, that's not a coincidence. That's the feminine in you recognizing herself. So thank you so much for joining me for this conversation today, and I'm gonna see you in the next episode.